Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. So, into my last video on this eBay series, I mentioned I would talk about how to track your inventory cost. I mean, if you're buying big items one at a time, it's pretty easy to track that. But I mentioned in that last video was I was kind of breaking down how much I made an hour on that item. I mentioned that I bought 10 items that trip to the, I think it was a Savers, and I spent about $30, like 27 something. So I just broke it evenly across those items instead of individually doing each one based on the receipt. So when I put it in my spreadsheet, which I show in my sold videos, you see that there'll be a group of items and all the price on them is like $270. So that's a one way to track your inventory cost. But as your inventory gets bigger, that can be a little interesting. And one other way to keep track of your costs, because you get to the point, you'll have offers coming in, and it's like, you know, what do I take on this? What, you know, how much am I into it? Do I want to just move it out and move on? So one way, like I said, is if you're buying smaller items in a lot, then you can just take, and that's what I did with all those rolls of tape, like I dropped off, and things like that, is you just take the total, you know, you paid $100 for this lot, and you got 100 items out of it, therefore, you know, each item's $1. You know, maybe you paid $10 for it, there's 100 items in there, so you paid 10 cents. So you can view your inventory cost that way and track it that way. And honestly, again, I'm not a CPA or I'm not offering tax advice. It's just an idea. That is a good way. And after talking to my CPA, that's a very consistent way for if the IRS was to look at your records. That is one way that he said auditors like to see, is it just consistent. Another way to do it though is, you know, let's say there's a lot, and the way I usually look at lots when I'm buying a lot of stuff, and I say a lot as in, like, you know, if you're at an auction or something, or maybe you're going to a yard sale and you build a group of stuff in order to try and get them to give you a better deal. So you have this lot of items that you say, you know, I found these, you know, 30 items, and I'm going to pay $20 for them, say, at this yard sale. You could break that cost across all of them, or let's say one of those items is what you were really focused on, and you know you can get $50 for that one item, and you paid 20 bucks for the whole lot. Hold on one second. All right, sorry, back again. So they moved offices on me where I was meeting this client. So the other way to track your inventory is, so let's say you buy that lot for 25 bucks, and the main reason you bought this lot was there was an item there that was $50 that you know you can sell for $50. So, and you know it's going to sell quick, so you sell that item for 50 bucks. And so what you could do is claim that you made $25 profit on that. That gives you a little flexibility, because let's say there was another 15 items in there. Essentially the cost on all those items is zero. So maybe there's smaller items that you're only going to sell for, you know, $20, $15, $20. Maybe it's a bunch of items you're going to sell for $10 shipped, and they're going to cost you $2 to ship, so they're going to be $8. You can track it individually, which is how I've done. Like I said, I broke that lot up and gave each one a cost of, you know, $2 a piece or whatever. But you can also do it the other way, which gives you some more flexibility, just because you're able to, you know, if somebody sends you an offer and it's, let's say you're not offering free shipping, you know you're into it zero, and they send you an offer of $4. Well, you know you just made $4. You don't have to think about it. Me, I have to kind of go back and kind of look at it and go, okay, what do I have in that item? Do I really want to go for that? So
cause confusion, especially if a buyer's trying to find a way out.
Different way
Yes.
to look at it. And a different way to track that inventory. So either way works. And you can do a combination of both. Just make sure as you're out doing yard sales and things, you want to track how that inventory, how much that inventory is costing you. Because it's really easy to think, oh, I'm paying, 50 cents an item or $1 an item or whatever. I don't need to track it. Well, it all adds up. The IRS cares what you're making, so therefore you need to track what you're spending so that doesn't come out of what you're making. It does add up. So, whether you take it, I got a different wallet when I started this so I can carry more cash and keep it organized. If you start at the beginning of the day, you don't need to go throughout the day and track each item if you don't want to necessarily. But let's say you start the day and you've got, $100 in 20s and $100 in ones. At the end of the day, you go get all these items, you count up how many items you have, and then see how much cash you have left, and then divide it across all of them. Or maybe, like I said, you've got a couple that you've sold that are going to make that $100 back, and you're going to consider the rest of them free, so you've got a little more flexibility on how you want to keep track of your inventory. But just keep track of that spending one way or the other, because it does add up. I mean, you can go through $100 at yard sales, get a lot of good stuff, but you don't need to, you're out there getting items. You don't want to be wasting a bunch of time tracking each item individually, unless that's how you want to do it. Personally, that's not what I want to do. Pardon me. I'm going to take, again, that's the problem when I stay home. I've been working at the house most of the day and I'm not drinking my caffeine. It's catching up to me now. Too lazy to make my own coffee. My wife makes it in the morning and then I don't ever do it the rest of the day. I should just start. Had iced tea, but... So, yeah, just track it regardless, so that you know, and, hopefully, like I've mentioned before, you're going to get to that point where eBay and PayPal send that letter to the IRS saying, hey, so-and-so username sold X amount of money. You want to have your expenses in order, so the IRS doesn't go, hey, you sold $40,000 worth of items. Well, if you pay 10 cents an item, that's not a big deal, but most of the time you're paying a little bit more for items, so you're going to want to have the write-offs to go with it. So anyway, keep track of that stuff. There's different ways to track your inventory costs. Just find what works for you. If you're interested in that spreadsheet, shoot me an email. I can send you a link to it. In my sold videos, I show that screenshots of that spreadsheet so you can kind of see how I keep track of, my inventory costs. But again, like I said, I'm not a CPA or telling you exactly how to do it. It's just ways that have worked for me and worked for other resellers that you can use as well. So, till next time, hit that thumbs up if this is helpful. Subscribe if you want to continue to see what comes out in the series. And we will catch you next time.